Hey guys, today's video is about killing all the weeds in your lawn, and I'm going to give you the 3 steps to do it. Now this is going to take a while, but you'll get there eventually if you just follow these tips. So first, let me show you my lawn, because every video I do about any of this stuff, somebody goes, well, his lawn's terrible, so of course it's not going to work. So let's show you the front yard. So there's my yard. You know what? I'll go this angle, because this angle, oh boy, I see one dandelion. Somebody's gonna point it out and say, see, he's a liar. But you can see, nice and thick, pretty weed free. I haven't done my weekly run around here yet, so I do this, when I'm gonna teach you this today, I do it weekly. And so the first step, before we go into which products to use, I'm going to take a little break and tell you about the types of ways to apply them. A lot of these products, you can get them, you'll go to the store and it's the same product and you might see 3 different bottles and go, which one do I get? Well, I'm going to show you that first, and then you'll be able to decide when it's time to get the products, which one you actually need. Now first, just to clarify here, I'm not actually applying anything today, so I have no PPE on at all. I would highly recommend that you wear some sort of PPE. I'll let you decide how much you want to get into, but I will say this. I typically, when I'm doing lawn stuff, wear sunglasses or safety sunglasses, and I have, while mixing a spray, splashed myself in the glasses with something, and so it did save it from going into my eyes. So I will say that, and I've seen on Instagram pictures of what can happen if this stuff gets in your eyes. So just wear some sunglasses, and you know, if you're mixing, gloves, rubber boots, which is helpful because then you're not getting your shoes all wet and tracking inside the house, making your significant other upset that you tracked it in. So it's just basic common sense stuff, which I'm not going to really go into because you guys can decide. But the first product, all right, so this product, I know you've seen these. They're like every box store. There's a million brands and types, but they all have a sprayer, this, and you go around and you go, and you're just kind of spot spraying, okay? So this spray tip right here will shoot out just like a little fan, and it's great if you see a weed and you go, all right, but you'll notice if you start to have a lot of weeds, you're going like this back and forth, getting all crazy. Now, that's where the next product comes in. So the next product will be something like this. Now this happens to be liquid gypsum, which is basically soap. So I will demonstrate. Check this out. Whoa, look at that huge wide spray. You can cover a large area with this. But you'll notice I've got very little control. So if I get over near my wife's flowers, there's a very good chance that I'm going to douse them. Oh boy. And then on top of that, you're not controlling how much product is actually going down. And so some items, like the reason they have so many in that format is some of these weed killers, it's okay to just go to town on your lawn. It's not going to damage your lawn. But there's other products that you need more control, and that's where this comes in. Now you don't have to get the backpack sprayer, but I would highly suggest that you get a backpack sprayer. If it's your first backpack sprayer and you want something and you don't have a big budget, the Harbor Freight ones, I used that one for years before, you know, the channel got popular, and then now I got so many backpack sprayers, I gotta do review videos and I don't even know what to do with all these backpack sprayers. But anyways, that'll come at some point, hopefully this summer. With these, you get the ease of use of, you know, you can be more mobile, you can cover more ground, but then you get a lot more control. So let's pump this guy up and I'll show you. I only got a little bit of water in here, so I don't know how much I gotta pump this. All right, so the tip of this has a line. That's where the fan is gonna go. So if I go like this, you see it just follows that line. And then you can also see it's a wide pattern, so I can cover a lot of space. Now there's different tips you can get. I like these. I'll show you in the description. This one I use for weed killers because it's a nice, it's like a, you can barely see it. It's got a lot of air in there right now, but it's a nice mist. And then there's others that I use for like when you're doing, you know, a soak of the soil, and it just puts out bigger droplets. All right, so you use one of these most likely when you're applying something that needs more control. Things that have, you know, warnings on them that if you over apply, it'll cause damage to your grass. Having this type of tip and that type of control, you can follow your stripes if you're striping, and you get nice even paths. You can hit everything up. You get the control around flower beds, all that stuff. You can maneuver this thing really easily. First step is to get a more generic weed killer and kill the easy weeds. And the next step is to get the more difficult. And then the last step is to get the impossible. So it's a 3-phase approach, and you should see some progress. So I'm gonna go to the backyard and I'm gonna show you. So it's funny because the front yard's looking so nice, now the kids tend to be in the front yard more than the backyard. So I've started to focus more in the backyard now. So now it's time to deal with this mess. But with 5 kids, it's kind of hard because if I do this every week, I like to have the front perfect. So if I'm trying to add in the backyard, then I got to kick them all out, and like you'll see they're playing tag and having a lot of fun. So anyway, so the first example of an easy weed would be a dandelion. So you can see here, it is already fried. Now this only took 1 application, which is why it's considered an easy weed. You can look, it's just boom, done. That's just an example. There are plenty of weeds in the first category. Now over here, we've got clover, which is in the more difficult category. You can see here, 1 spray, lots of damage to it. It's definitely hurting, but it's not dead. And so you're gonna need to reapply on that one. But now for the impossible one, which hopefully you will not care to go this far, because once you see it, it's usually everywhere and then it's a huge pain. But Poa annua, Poa triv, basically all the grassy weeds. What makes these difficult is you got the good grass, you got the bad grass. How do you kill one and not the other? Now there are ways. You can see it's really brightening up, and that's because I applied tenacity to it. But for these specific weeds, pretty much the only way you can do it is to use some glyphosate. So I like to use tenacity first and then glyphosate. But all right guys, so now you know basically the 3 difficulty levels of weeds and why they're called those difficulty levels. But now I'm going to show you the different types of weed killer. Now I'm not going to go into ingredients right now, I'm just showing you how you can purchase them. And so here's the 3 ways you can get them. So you got here a hose end, ready to use, ready to spray. You literally hook these types of guys up to your hose and you just go to town. These are meant for broadcast spraying and they work pretty good. And there's a whole bunch of brands of these types where these are ready to spray, pre-mixed, and this is more for spot spraying. This is, you know, convenient. You can go out weekly. What I do is I'll go out weekly with some of these and just spot spray. And then you get the concentrates, and here's some. Here's tenacity, and here's Weed Be Gone CCO. Word of caution, if you're using tenacity, I've seen this on a lot of posts and on Reddit and videos, and everybody seems to be all about tenacity right now. Use my tenacity calculator on my website if you're going to use it, because I've had 3 people in the last week or 2 come talk to me and they said, hey, you know, I just applied tenacity, I'm really excited, I can't believe it only took, I think it was like an ounce or something like that. And I was like, oh, how big of a lawn do you have? Oh yeah, just a couple thousand square feet. And you realize, oh, they're totally over applying it and their lawn is gonna look really messed up soon. So just use the calculator. It's a lot easier than trying to explain the math and everything. Most likely you're gonna wanna start with one of those hose end sprayers and one of the basic brands, something like, let's see, that's the CCO. I like the CCO ones, but I know I I keep all the bottles for videos so I can show you guys. Here's a green one. Something like this, Weed Be Gone plus crab gas control. It says right on it, kills 200 weeds. All right, so this is gonna take care of a whole bunch of weeds in your lawn, and it's gonna give you pretty good results. So you're gonna see some results right away. Now you wanna use liquid. Don't use that granular stuff that you put down as a weed and feed product. Those don't work as well, and it's simple. When you use a liquid, the leaves soak in all the liquid. When you use a granular, essentially you're waiting for some kind of liquid to turn that granular into liquid and hoping that it doesn't fall off the blade of the weed in the meantime. So sometimes you can get lucky and it'll work, but usually it doesn't. So I totally recommend using the liquid. So the first step, and I dropped it. The first step would be to get a hose end sprayer like this, and this one says 5,000 square feet, and just go back and forth at a nice reasonable pace. You don't have to worry about over applying with these ones too much, so just take your time, just try it out. There's even a switch. Usually you can get it to do water before it's doing the chemical on a lot of them. I think it's these ones. So these ones on the top, it can go to water first. And now Ortho has a whole bunch of different types as well. Essentially, you're going for something that lists the most number of weeds on it. So this one says 200. Boom, that's your first step. That's gonna get the easy ones. You look at this and it says chickweed, clover, and oxalis killer. Kills creeping Charlie and wild violet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeds it shows on here. Now it kills more, but if the front of the label of this one says 200 and this one 5, well, this is a more specific weed killer, and that's gonna be a later step. Right now you wanna just blanket spray your lawn with whatever is locally available, because the laws are all different everywhere, but whatever is locally available that has the most number of weeds in liquid form, and blanket spray your lawn. So that's the thing you're gonna do on day one. Now, a week later, you're gonna walk around your yard and you're gonna start to look at what things were damaged and what weren't. So you can see the dandelion, poof, just completely gone. But then the clover, you can see, was a little bit damaged. This one might do clover, I don't know. Oh yeah, it says clover on here. So plus crabgrass and foxtail. So you'll see some will be damaged, but they're not really going away. That's where you start to move on to the next step, which I recommend the CCO spray, because this kills a lot of the weeds the other one doesn't. It's got tricloplur, I've never been good at this. So this is a great number 2 step because it kills a lot of the things that these generics don't kill. And so you get, same thing, I would do blanket spray with this over the whole yard. Now this is a week apart. You don't want to like throw everything down. This is one of those things where as you're applying these sprays, it can have an effect on your lawn if you do too much all at once. So you take your time. So on the second step, you're also going to start to look at what weeds aren't getting killed and which weeds are, and start to look up on websites. Now, I'm working on grassdaddy.net. I've made it so you guys can all post photos on different weeds and diseases and bugs to help each other out. So if you have any great photos of clover, or basically go to grassdaddy.net, click on weeds. If you see any of the icons for a weed that doesn't have a photo and you have a photo of it, please submit it so that way we all can benefit, because there's so many weeds out there. But that's, once you've gone through this step and you've sprayed this, you're gonna start to look at what weeds are there. You should have a lot fewer weeds, and it's gonna start to be the ones that are more difficult. So I recommend on week 3, spray this again. Most likely you'll have clover still around. And the key here is you wanna try to be 1 week intervals or 10-day intervals within that range. Because if you wait too long, the weed can actually, you know, regenerate or reinvigorate is what I'm looking for. And then it's kind of like you're starting all the way over. So you gotta kill it while you can. Now the last step that you're gonna get to is the more difficult weeds. And this is where tenacity comes in. This is where looking up the specific weed, it's most likely a grassy weed, comes into play. And traditionally this has been the most difficult step to handle, but I got something pretty cool to show you. All right, here we go. I was in Home Depot and I found this product. So this is a game changer. Check it out. Boom, Roundup. Oops, I'm not showing it. Roundup for Lawns Crabgrass Destroyer. Now we go to the other side and it's got crabgrass, foxtail, goosegrass, there's other ones. I think it said Nimblewill. Oh, here we go. Nimblewill, signal grass. I'm so bad at reading. Cupgrass, stilt grass, Dallas grass, barnyard grass. I think somewhere I think this will work on Bermuda grass. Yeah, it says do not apply to Bermuda grass. Now it's not labeled for Bermuda grass, but I know from doing a video with Matt Martin,
my product of choice is Pylex. I love to use Pylex.
That the active ingredient will kill Bermuda grass. You'll see here, but this is just topramazone, which that active ingredient is Pylex.
Pylex.
So Pylex you'd get in a bottle just like the tenacity and you mix it yourself. But this is really a game changer because it's killing a lot of grassy weeds in such an easy to use way. And these are the type of weeds that you're probably not gonna have to broadcast spray, so something like that is beneficial. But let me show you what's going on with this. All right, check out what it's doing to the weeds over here. It's turning them white just like tenacity does. When you're getting into this grassy weed area, it can take a lot of time to identify what it is, but that is killing it. I think it's quackgrass, pretty sure, but I could be wrong. But either way, this is definitely killing it. What I would recommend for your step 3 is to try this out, simply because it's so easily available and it kills a lot of things that tenacity was previously used for, and it kills a lot of things that tenacity couldn't kill. So I think it's a game changer. So those are the 3 steps. Now something else you can do if you use, I already lost my prop. If you use something like this, lighting, here we go. If you use something like this and you've killed the majority of it, you can switch over to something easier to use and just go to spot spraying. So like this guy here, I know will kill clover and yellow nutsedge. This one, I don't know if it does clover or not. I don't think so. So you can switch over, and so what I'll do is once I feel like it's not an overwhelming amount, I'll switch over to the spot sprays, and every Sunday afternoon towards the evening time, I'll go around and I'll spot spray everything. And the reason I do that is I've got kids, and so I know generally by the end of the weekend, Sunday evening, they're starting to be like, okay, we're so done with playing outside, we want to go in and play video games or something. And so I know they're not going to be out in the grass for a while, and so that's when I'll do that. And that's just my weekly routine. So those are the 3 steps. If you think about it, first it's killing off the easy ones with something that can just a generic, broadcast, kill everything, hose end sprayer. The second step would be to start to use something more advanced, the triclopler. It does a lot of the, I forget what they call it. I think it's like woodsy or foresty type weeds, viney type weeds, those things. Basically, most of the weeds that the other ones don't kill. And then the third one is to go after the grassy weeds, which the Roundup for Lawns with Crabgrass Destroyer really It's still a terrible name. I hate that they use Roundup in the name because a lot of people think that's glyphosate, and I get tons and tons of hate comments on my videos, and it just shows that, you know, if somebody's watching the video, they might think it's actual Roundup and go round up their lawn, which is not a good idea. But I get that they're trying to expand, and they're doing some cool products in my opinion. Like the Roundup for Lawns kills a lot more than the other generic weed killer brands that I've seen. So I actually prefer that one. And now the Roundup for Lawns Crabgrass Destroyer killing grassy weeds, that's pretty cool. So it's just, they are making better mixes, I guess you'd say. So I do recommend those. But if you stick to the 3 steps, you should be weed free. You know, there's gonna be some exceptions, but you're gonna have to decide, like the Poa annua and Poa trivialis, you're gonna have to decide, do you want to dig it out? Do you want to use glyphosate? Because there's not really anything that will kill it. Tenacity will put a hurting on it. I do like using Tenacity to light it up so I can see where it is, and then, ooh, I almost forgot. I like to use this weed wick. So underneath that cap is essentially a big paintbrush, and this tube is filled with glyphosate, and so you can paint weeds with glyphosate without getting it on anything else. And because it's inside this cap like this, you're not going to get it all over you, you're not going to make a mess. It's actually a really great idea. Any chemical I use, I'm going to be extremely careful, and this one, because it will kill the grass, I'm even more careful. So just be careful with these products, guys. So there you have it. I totally recommend that you go to grassdaddy.net and check out the weed section. Basically, anytime I'm not out in the lawn, I'm trying to update that section for you guys, and just, I'm trying to create like a one-stop shop where you can go get a lot of information. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you help me out by posting your photos. I don't charge for this information. You know, this is a hobby of mine that I just really enjoy, and I want you guys to really enjoy it. So I feel like if you have the information at your disposal, you're gonna enjoy it more. And so there you go, 3 pretty easy steps to kill all the weeds in your lawn.
If you like my videos, you'll love my website, grassdaddy.net. The Lawn Care Planner tool will download the local weather reports every morning and build a lawn care plan catered to your area. The Lawn Care Journal allows you to keep track of what you put down, when you put it down, so there's no more guessing or over or under applying any products. We also have a Lawn of the Week contest. Every week a winner gets a Grass Daddy t-shirt. And last but not least, there are application calculators and articles to help you identify and tackle problems in the lawn. So check it out, it's completely free, it's grassdaddy.net.